Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here. And OPPO just sent over their new Find N2, which is their latest foldable device. And as a lot of you know, I love having a folding phone in my pocket. It makes multitasking so much easier. It's great for consuming content. And with the Find N2, they brought design improvements. It's thinner, it's lighter, and they've even decreased the visibility of the crease in the middle of this folding phone. So I'm excited to really see that and see how visible it is or not. Not only that, I will also put the Find N2 up against the previous model so you can see the differences between the crease and just the overall design. But let's get into the unboxing of the OPPO Find N2. Here's the new OPPO Find N2, also a partnership with Hasselblad for their camera system. Make note, this is the 16 gig of RAM, 512 gig of storage model. Now, let's attempt to peel this plastic off. Opening up the box. Very nice presentation. Here is our device. We're going to set this to the side for just a second. There's some Chinese characters. I actually don't know what they say. If anyone does know, drop a comment, let me know. Inside the box, continuing through, you do get an included case. That's actually really nice. We'll put this on a little bit later on in the video, but definitely really cool that they included that in a nice green color. Let's open this up because there is more. We get our standard SIM ejection tool, standard booklets, and just, some other information. And then in here, it looks like we do have just a microfiber cloth to clean the display. And finally, in the box, we get our charging cable, USB Type A to USB Type C, which means our charging brick should have USB Type A, if I'm not mistaken. Sliding it out. Yep, USB Type A right there. This is a 67 watt charging brick, which will actually charge from 0 to 100% in just about 42 minutes. So really quick on the charging, especially for a foldable phone. All right, and on to what you came to see, the OPPO Find N2. Let's peel this plastic off, revealing the device. Wow, I really like this matte green color. It looks really good, really clean. Let's just test that. Wow, I can already notice the hinge is less visible just right away, especially in comparison to the previous model. We'll compare that in just a second, but for the time being, let's go ahead and press and hold the power button, and while it boots up, take a close look at the hardware of this folding phone. Down at the bottom, you've got a dual SIM card slot, microphone, USB Type-C port, and a couple speakers. A little bit different on the right side here. You have your volume rockers and power button on the exact same side, whereas on the previous model, you'll notice the volume rockers was on one side, power button on the other, and this time, the power button's a little bit raised. It's not inset like the previous one, but there is still a fingerprint scanner built into this power button. Make note of the camera bump, fairly minimal overall, and then up towards the top, just another microphone. Moving along the spine here of that folding phone, it just says Find N. So this is the Find N2, very minimal, very clean. Again, I can't get over how much I'm really liking the color of this device. On the back, very clean, and our triple camera system. We've got a 50 megapixel lens with optical image stabilization, 48 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, which can take macro shots, and a 32 megapixel telephoto lens, which I believe can zoom in up to 2 times optically. And while we're taking a close look, I want to show off the hinge mechanism from the back side. Very seamless, closes shut with that display on the front and closing like so. Now let's just take a closer look from the side so you can really see that mechanism in action with the display raised up just a little bit and snaps shut. Really impressive. Absolutely no hinge gap right there. So it's not raised at all. There's no gap in between the sides pushing together towards the spine. That front display does have a pre-installed screen protector along with the inside display as well. And just a quick look at the hinge. You can put it at different angles. Once it hits a certain point, it will snap open, but from this point in, you can pretty much angle it however you'd like to, and closing it shut. Feels very premium opening it and closing it. With the display open, noticing you can still see the crease right here, but it is much less noticeable than the previous model. When you're looking directly at it, unless the light hits it in a very specific way, it's very hard to notice. Anyways, I'm going to continue through the setup process and just talk about anything noteworthy. This is one of the first things that's noteworthy. If you want to read this before using, just talking about the crease. This device, I don't believe, has any IP ratings, so keep that in mind. Few options for unlocking your device, including face and fingerprint. We're going to set up a fingerprint scanner first. As I mentioned, just built into that power button, which is in a convenient spot. It's about where I'm going to rest my thumb, setting it down and lifting it up. It's taking a little bit of time, but we will test this out once we get our phone going. Not quite as quick as other ones. Let's enroll the fingerprint edges, which I don't mind, as long as it works how it should. There we go. You can import data from your old devices, options for navigation, including buttons down at the bottom that some people like, or just using the newer gestures. You do have Color OS, which is a skin on top of Android. And here we go. We are all set up. We are now on the home screen. Let's close it, take a quick look at this front display. Now this front display has a 17.7 to 9 aspect ratio, so more like a normal phone, not as tall as something like the Galaxy Z Fold 4, for example. It is a 120 Hertz AMOLED display at 1080p. For a quick reference, just seeing how much thinner and taller the Z Fold 4 is in comparison to this device. So this will be a lot more comfortable to use when typing, just more like a normal phone to hold it, as opposed to it being very tall. And opening it up, here is the inside display, which is also a 120 Hertz display, LTPO between 1 and 120 Hertz. Here's a quick glance. We'll get to some software in just a second, but this is a 1920 by 1792 screen resolution at 7.1 inches. So you go from 5.54 on the outside to 7.1 on the inside. So really neat. You can have a regular phone, open it up into a larger, almost tablet style. If you are wondering, this inside display gets up to 1550 nits brightness, so it will get very bright outside. Let's jump into settings very quickly. Want to go to display. I do believe 120 Hertz is enabled by default because it is very smooth. It looks really good right now. Obviously, auto screen turn off. Let's change that. But screen refresh rate's at high, so yes, maximum of 120 Hertz. You can set it to standard if you want to save some battery life at 60 Hertz. There's a setting called haptics. Interesting. I really want to check this out. So system haptics, key presses, supports only the default system keyboard. You can change the haptic intensity to feel more natural. This does feel really good. It's giving me feedback when I change the intensity to a little bit lighter, to a little bit stronger, but really happy that they're focusing on the haptics. I think that's one thing that really does make your device feel more premium, but for now, just those initial impressions, it feels really good. Jumping into the camera application, makes note of the Mary Silicon X, which they had unveiled last year, which is their NPU using AI. It'll get featured within different camera settings, such as ultra night video or ultra HDR video in 4K. So here's a look at the camera application. If we do go horizontally, in a sense, we can snap some quick pictures. Shots for that ultra wide angle lens, again, 0.6 times with a more macro mode, so you'll see how close I'm actually getting with this case. We'll get to that case in just a second. And 2 times. So there's that optical zoom up to 2 times. Shutter speed seems to be very quick. Going through the various modes, you have a night mode to snap some pictures. Video, you have a group of different options. AI highlight video for better results in dim and bright light. You can shoot all the way up to 4K. 4K 60 frames a second, in case you were wondering. An AI highlight video, you can turn that on or off. Portrait mode, and if we go to more, here's just a look at all of the different settings and various options that you do have. Time lapse, movie. There is a pro mode, which is always great to see, so you can customize ISO, white balance, shutter speed, all that good stuff. Now, I'd also like to point out, regardless of what mode you're in, you have a couple options. This one to give you a quick preview of the different shots that you're taking. So it will show up almost instantly. That's really cool and really nice. And then this other button, which will turn on the preview screen. So now you can use the rear cameras to take selfies or pictures of yourself, you know, that will use the better camera system as opposed to that inside front-facing camera. Let's do a quick test of that fingerprint scanner, locking the device, going to the lock screen, setting our thumb down, a little bit of a vibration feedback, and just about an instant unlock. So that's Really good to see. Let's press down, and while you press down with your thumb, it recognizes it right away, so you can pretty much just set it down. Let's see if you have to press the button. It looks like you do have to press the button, but I think you can go into settings and make it so if you just set your thumb down, it will read your fingerprint. Would like to point out this is the Chinese model of the OPPO Find N2, in case you were wondering. Anyways, want to try out a software feature, excited about, because it is a folding phone. You're going to want to do a lot of multitasking. So when you're in an app, use 2 fingers, swipe down, and open another app. So whatever app you decide, maybe the browser and the weather app, that is how you very easily get 2 apps going at once. And actually kind of cool, 3-finger swipe down is a screenshot, but you can do it individually. So you'll see I took a screenshot of just the right side there, and now just the left side there, but if I do it in the middle here, it takes a screenshot of both of them. Check that out. Just really cool, very useful, and very easy. Worked how it should. That's cool to see. Now let's dive into settings and check out some more features. Aside from split screen, you also have flexible windows, which will float the windows, and you can multitask much easier. Smart sidebar. There's also Flexform mode. Fold your phone like a laptop to show content only on the top half of the screen. So if you go like that and you're in a compatible app, it will open up new features that you can test out. Let's see if I do it like this. There we go, Flexform Space. It already just prompts you for it. Got it. And there's different applications, camera, calculator right here. So if we do jump into swipe left and right to switch between apps, double tap to open. So double tap there. It's kind of like a trackpad down here. Swipe left and right, double tap to open an app. Oh, this is just a tutorial. Great job. Okay, I was wondering why it wasn't working. It's just the tutorial there. But lets you know some applications that it is compatible for, recently used. You'll notice here that it brings all the settings down here when you are snapping pictures. Screen switching, continue using a specific app. When you close it, swipe up to continue using or turn off screen. So I like the swipe up to continue using actually. So when you close it, it prompts you with a very, very faint swipe up to continue using. And there we go, that app is now opened up on that front screen as opposed to just being continue or turn off. That's very intuitive, the swipe up to continue. I like that one. Under wallpapers and style, you can customize the look, the font, icons, there's themes, and change always on display. Truly customize it. It'll show music played back, trips and food deliveries that are supported, just more contextual information. You have emoji, custom patterns, just a crazy amount of different features to change the clock and your settings. In case you were wondering, wanted to show off what a YouTube video in full screen looks like. You'll see some bars up at the top and bottom, and there we go. Same with the aspect ratio. It's basically just a square. And let's see what happens if I go like this and swipe up. Oh, look at that. The video just continues. That's really cool. But again, with a almost 16:9 aspect ratio on that front display, it's going to fill up just about the entire screen. And then you can continue when you do open it on up. So just an example of a video. Again, just wanted to show you what that aspect ratio looks like. And again, keep in mind this video is a 16:9 aspect ratio. Very quickly, wanted to put the OPPO Find N and the OPPO Find N2 side by side. It is thinner and lighter with the Find N2, and I can notice that. So nice to see improvements on that. And the camera setup is just a little bit different, a little bit wider, but still a triple camera setup. And when open up, just more polished, more premium. The hinge is just more noticeable on the previous. You'll see how much wider that hinge actually is as opposed to the previous one. You can barely tell it's there. So definitely a huge improvement on that crease. And as I mentioned, let's grab that case, which does match that color, kind of gives it a more leather look to it, so very easy to snap that on. It looks like there's tabs here. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to peel these off because it will have a little bit of grip. So it does have a little bit of grip. I don't want it on there just for now because I want to get some pictures of the actual device without the case on. So I'm going to leave these little tabs on, but if you are going to apply, make sure you do peel those tabs off because it will give it a little bit more grip, a little bit more stick to the device. So here it is on the front, all the way snapped on. Actually, again, ignore the tabs that are on the actual case itself. Opening it up, it is, very comfortable to hold, nice softer touch feel, and it will give you some extra protection for this folding device on top of the screen protectors that are also pre-installed. Open for all of the buttons on the right side. And there you have it. That would be the case. Anyways, that is everything I wanted to talk about for now with the OPPO Find N2. If you can't tell, I really do love folding phones. Very excited to see even more hardware come out. Also love to see competition in this space. So again, this is the OPPO Find N2. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this very premium looking, feeling device. A lot more to come, so be sure to click that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.